Never mind.
Do I know what I'm doing today? Is that what you just asked?
Yes,
No,
you're on live camera.
not really.
Okay.
I have a set of ingredients.
Okay.
I'll muddle through it.
Okay. Model.
Just tell me when.
Give me a second.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Okay. I think you're live.
Hey, we're live. Okay, it's all good. So I'm gonna start now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
starting. All right.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crazy Cabin Fever Cocktails Day 28. I am Tim Niddle with Distilled Living, and all of our cocktails tonight were suggestions and challenges and variants off of recipes that were shown to us. And as a result, I really don't have any idea what I'm doing. Hillary kind of probably made more of the recipe than I did. But I know what the ingredients are, and I know how to do proportions, and I know how to do technique. So I'm just going to try to work my way through it and see if it tastes good at the end. So the first one, some of you may know I've been working with the Celerity Group on project management around tourism, distillery visitor centers, the reopening, which is a startlingly mind-breaking endeavor for anyone who's involved in that industry. Constant moving targets and really difficult to get your mind around. So we did a little webinar last week, and it went really well. I was really, really pleased about it. You can find that online. And I was asked to make, because we kept talking about the dilemmas involved, the dilemmas here, there, and the other, and how do you make a decision in uncertainty, a Di-Lemonata cocktail, which of course Hillary immediately made. So that's how that works out. And we're using San Pellegrino Limonata, right? Okay, so there it is. And this is a super simple highball. I'm in a Collins glass, crushed ice. I'm going to use my Hartfield and Company bourbon, which is a big, heavy, intense bourbon, which is going to stand up really well to the really, really intense lemon that this has in it. I'm going to do about an ounce. Because this is a tall, lighter style drink. Yeah, it's probably an ounce. In my Collins glass, 3/4 full of crushed ice. And my chilled sparkling limonata. So this is bringing sour. This is bringing sweet, because it's technically a soda kind of thing. And Italian sparkling drink is what it actually says. A nice foam on there. And it just needs a little stir to integrate, which I'm going to do with my straw.
And this is probably the simplest cocktail we've done in weeks.
2-ingredient cocktail. Boom, there you go.
It should be delicious.
It should be delicious. Where's that? Got a good nose on it already. Yeah, that's really good. It's actually nicely balanced. This stuff is a little on the lemon unto cleaner side, so having a really intense bourbon is the way to go. I might even go with 1.5 ounces of bourbon, because actually I'm going to. Yeah, this needs more bourbon. I was looking for a classic lighter highball. That's not the right answer.
Very, very, very intense highball.
There we go. That's going to be better. I don't want to lose too much carbonation there. Much better. 1.5 ounces. That's the way to go. Okay, that was the first one. Di-Lemonata. There you go, Bert. Okay, that one's going off to the side. And then I don't know how we came from the suggestions that we had to the ingredients that we put together for them. There was probably some long, convoluted process that I don't remember. But here are the ingredients that we're working on. I think there was a lot of stuff involving rum.
Yeah,
and we kept pulling stuff out.
Something came out of a.
We were trying to
not have passion fruit.
No passion fruit. So there. Or whatever other ingredients.
But so then there was also a Bacardi 150 one, which we didn't have, so we ended up in high proof. Sorry, I'm looking at pictures and reminding myself of what we looked at.
What were we thinking about when we did this? And I can't remember how we kept substituting ingredients out of these cocktail recipes. that were suggested into this. But this is what we wound up with. So we were looking for our fruit juices because it's going to be a fruity summertime cocktail. We have cranberry and we have apple. And these are both actually like clear and really well purified and filtered. So I'm going to use these as if they were a vermouth almost instead of as a pulpy juice in this. And then for some reason we thought White Dog was going to be a good idea. And then we needed a little more contrasty element, so we went with the dry curacao. And the only bourbon that made any sense with this whatsoever was Maker's Mark. Any sort of rye hint, anything spicy, just was not on the nose correct. But I haven't actually made this yet, so we'll see how it goes. All right. So this is going to be a stirred cocktail.
So I'm going to destroy this video just a little bit tonight. I'm going to make fun of you for the fact that there's no camera over here tonight, Tim.
There is no camera over there.
But
the screen is over there, and somebody has a chat window popped up over there. So there you go.
So I need to check on that.
Okay.
You're fine.
So let's work with our mnemonic, right? Or our little memory tool. 2 ounces spirit, 1 ounce sweet, 2 ounces, or 1 ounce strong, 2 ounce weak. I take me 2 tries to get that right every time, no matter how often I do it. I've got 2 spirit bases here. So I'm going to use 1 ounce of each. One ounce Buffalo Trace White Dog. This is not actually the first time I've ever used this in a cocktail, but it's pretty freaking rare. Really, the only reason that I have this is because I use it for certain palate trainings, especially for bartenders, to talk about the evolution of bourbon through the barrel and the 6 forms of flavor profile change that occur. So, an ounce of my Makers. It's actually a pretty good combination already. So the problem is now I have 3 sweets. Okay, so I don't want any one of these to dominate. So what I'm probably going to do, now I'm thinking it through, is I'm going to use 3/4, 3/4, 1/2. And that is going to give me another 2 ounces, which is going to be the equivalent volume of what I just put in spirit. So 3/4 apple juice. 3/4 of cranberry juice, and 1/2 ounce of my dry curacao, which is a really good dry curacao. So this probably should get a garnish, but we didn't think that far ahead. I don't know what the garnish would be though, because you have so many different fruits going on with this. Probably an orange slice, because it's an easy garnish. That's probably would land with it. Maybe an orange and a cranberry on a flag. Maybe with a fresh cranberry, even though it wouldn't be edible. That might be kind of cool. Now this doesn't take the entire long integration that vermouth does. Like if this was Manhattan, it would be here all night, but it's not. So that should be pretty easy. And I'm going to put this over some fresh ice. And we'll see how this tastes. It's got a really interesting color. I've never made a cocktail with that color before that I can recall.
So anytime someone makes an adjustment, we're changing it in the recipe. So
yeah.
If a few times, actually I think we did this more early on, where we kind of made some minor adjustments either while Tim was making the drink or just a tiny adjustment after the drink was made and put the full recipe online. So as always, we do actually have the recipes on distilled-living.com.
Yep.
After the event. I'll let Tim talk about the drink now.
It's really quite good. The sweet balance is fantastic. The corn note off the White Dog is a little strong. If I was drinking this at a picnic with a burger, that would actually be really good. If I was just sipping this in the evening, watching Netflix or something, I'd probably scale back the White Dog by half and increase a 1/2 ounce of the Maker's Mark. But other than that, it's pretty good. You want to try it?
Are we going to have to review the video tonight to figure out the proportions for the recipe?
Yeah, we probably are. To be fair. There we go. Maybe we'll offer 2 different variants. That's really good. And it doesn't have a name either.
If anybody has suggestions for names, go ahead, throw them out there. And
Steve. Thank you. All right. Okay.
It doesn't have dragon fruit or passion fruit in it, but but
No, it doesn't.
the recipe that Steve shared with us got us headed down this path on these next two drinks. So
I kind of like that, actually. What do you think?
I like it. It is. It's really good.
Yeah.
I don't think that the moonshine's too much. I do agree
White
with
dog?
you that it brought. Yeah, fine.
We're coming to the moonshine in a minute. Moonshine's coming.
Okay, fine. Technically, white dog.
Yes.
But I agree with you on the comment about the food. It depends on what you're. But I think that also because you've got ice in here, I think you could sip on it for a while. Like I think the flavor's really good.
I'll do a big cube sitting outside on a hot day. Like that's actually surprisingly refreshing.
You may want to make a note about the curacao too. The curacao is a dry curacao, which is a little different than a regular curacao. There is no food coloring in that. The flavor is just a tiny bit different. It's a little bit closer to a triple sec.
Yeah.
And you could probably substitute triple sec for that, or you have another alternative for triple sec too.
You could use Cointreau, which is the triple sec and brandy combination. No, that's Grand Marnier. Cointreau is the triple sec. Grand Marnier is the combo. There's a lot in the triple sec and orange liqueur category. I just tend to steer towards a dry and natural because there's a lot of stuff that's just really, really fake and really, really sickly sweet, and those are just things that I avoid. So that came out really well. I'm excited for that. I would make that again. Let me put it that way. Okay, so now some recipe that we were looking at had Bacardi 151.
We don't have that.
But we did have, I can't remember why we bought this, but we had a reason at the time. Ray and Nephew White Overproof Rum, guaranteed full strength. Well, I hope so. It's TTB regulated. Once it says 126 proof on there, it better be 126 proof. So it's not 151, but it's still pretty high proof. So we're going to play with this. This is Jamaican.
I think we were actually just curious about the high proof liquors that were on the market and hadn't tried a high proof rum. I think something else called for the 151. And we were trying to find it, couldn't find it, and got this.
This is not quite a full funk Jamaican. It's a little funky. It's very sweet, earthy molasses, some spices on it. It's really nice, actually. And then I think we went next to the Velvet Falernum because that being in Caribbean as well, just made sense. And this made sense as our sweet element. So now we have a spirit, we have a sweet. Bear in mind, this is an overproof, and this is a proof. Because then we were looking around trying to figure out what else we wanted to include in this. Flavor profile didn't make sense with bourbon with the barrel aging. So we're trying to see what else we had that was clear. And we had this old bottle of TJ Pottinger Sugar Shine from Limestone Ranch. And this is a 50-50-50 cocktail. Shine, which is hilarious. It's 50% corn, 50% sugar, so it couldn't even become bourbon later on. And it's not rum either, so I don't know. It's a 50-50. And it's 50% alcohol, so you get 3 50% in there in a row. And it smells like you'd expect. It smells like moonshine. This is one of the nicer moonshines that I have smelled, actually. To be fair. It does have a lot of burn on the palate, though. That is going to be taken down by the sweetness of the falernum. So now...
I'm going to interrupt you again.
Yeah.
Do you want to give people alternatives? Because I don't know that you can find that anymore. Because there are a couple of others that you might be able to do.
I would look to Barrel House Distilleries Devil John Moonshine. This might actually work with the Devil John Dark Shine as well. Although that starts to lend towards like strawberries, and we're going in a citrus direction with this.
Does Bluegrass Distillers still have theirs?
Bluegrass Distillers might have one. Tanner's Curse, the original, which is built on a corn mash, actually would probably work with this. That is from Boone County Distillery. There's not as many. I mean, there was this flood of clear moonshine and clear bourbon mash spirits for a while. I can't think of as many on the market. Kind of got too many there at some point.
Anyway, sorry. I figured that you might have need an alternative here because I figured that I don't know. I looked really quickly and I couldn't find it. So
yeah, let's see what other moonshines are available. Keep it 100 proof because bear in mind these proofs are all over the place with this cocktail, so it's going to be a little bit different. Now these actually smell really good together. They needed a contrast. So all we have is spirit and sweet. We got some spice flavors, but that's about it. So the being sort of a tropical thing, lime was just the obvious way to go. So I'm going to roll my lime, press it to get more juice out of it, because I need a fair bit.
The lime also seems to, as we've explored this velvet falernum, the lime seems to bring out this sort of interesting, even though there's no coconut in falernum, it brings out an interesting coconut kind of essence to the velvet falernum.
Yep.
Not entirely sure why, but that's what has happened so far.
That's what comes out. Coconut is comes out in a lot of barrel-aged spirits as well, so it must be fairly common in nature in terms of a flavor profile. Kind of like clove, you get both from cloves and from American oak. So, all right. Now, working with at-proof, overproof. I would normally do 2 parts spirit, so I'd do 1-1 and then 1 part sweet. I'm going to bring this down to 3/4. One, because it's overproof, and another because I'm going to add a little bit more at the end. So, first thing I'm going to do is get my citrus juice. This is a strong flavor, so I'm going to use 1 part, which is going to be 1 ounce for this particular cocktail. Which, this is a really dry lime. Normally I would get more than that, but okay. So, do a little bit more. Wow, it really does not want to give me a lot of juice. It must be old. Don't know when the last time was we did the grocery shopping. So. It's a good thing I rolled it. If I had not rolled this lime before I started trying to squeeze it, I would be getting nothing out of it right now. No, I'm still at 3/4. Come on.
Do you need to crack open it? There is one more.
I might use the other lime. We'll see in a minute. I'm gonna just kind of like massage this one down and see if I can get that last 1/4 ounce out of it.
As we're live on air.
We're live on air, and I have to squeeze. I'm trying to get it to.
Usually it doesn't take this long, folks.
No, usually
Sorry.
it doesn't. Squeezing a lime. All right, I'm right under 1 ounce. I'm gonna let it roll with that. And remember, I'm starting with my cheapest ingredient, because if I screw this up, I can replace it more cheaply than if I use an expensive ingredient. And I am shaking this because citrus basically demands to be shaken to integrate properly. It's got a different specific gravity. There's a whole lot of theory around that. All right, so now I'm going to move to my velvet falernum. It's the next one. I'm going to use 1 ounce. And then my overproof, 3/4.
That does take into consideration what's going to happen at the end, right?
Yes, it does. That's one of the other reasons I brought it down to 3/4. It's got a weird little nozzle on it. You can tell I reach for that all the time, right? Okay, and 1 ounce of this. So this is a surprisingly good nose on it. It's very corn forward, but that's okay. I kind of like it. All right, now this is going to get a good shake. Overshook it slightly. Too much vacuum. Come on. But I was worried about dilution when using overproof. There we go. So, and I'm actually going to soft ice in this one. I'm just going to...
Explanation of soft ice versus hard ice.
Alright, soft ice versus hard ice. Okay, so, look at that. That's gorgeous. That leaves that effervescence in there, which is kind of nice. Oh, that's going to be really good. Okay, I got asked this question the other day for a virtual tasting that I'm setting up down the road. I use the terms hard ice and soft ice a lot. I usually hard ice beforehand, more so. They're bartender terms. Hard ice means ice that is very, very cold and not trying to melt. As ice gets warmer and warmer, it gets softer, which means it's giving off more and more liquid. This came right out of my freezer right before we got started, so it was still very cold, still very hard, less dilution. Soft ice, if it had been sitting in a bowl for a while, it starts to drip. it means that the whole temperature of the ice is warmed up so much it's going to potentially over dilute your drink and under chill it. So bartenders really, really get careful about using hard ice. In fact, in the bar, they have a different term for soft ice, which also starts with an S, which I'm not going to use here.
That also means that it is soft ice once you've shaken it in the shaker.
Yes.
That's why you see bartenders shake over ice and then pour over fresh ice in a lot of scenarios.
Because that fresh ice then is a second round of hard ice that's going to keep your drink colder but not dilute as fast. I'm okay with a little extra dilution on this because of the proofs that I'm working with. Now, last thing that we were asked to do. I would not do this way in a bar setting. I know I'm not doing it correctly, but that's okay because I was putting this together at the last minute. Also, I am not as good at floats as some other people, so I have to do it this way. So here's what we're going to do. Back of the spoon on top of the liquid, and I'm just going to, it's called a float. So what I'm trying to do is get the overproof rum, about 1/4 ounce or so that I saved. We'll see if this works. Onto the top of the liquid, because it should, if it hasn't over diluted.
Nope.
Did I over dilute it?
I think so.
Probably. Dang. This would work better with 151. Also, I shouldn't be using this kind of a device to light it on fire. All right, let me do just a little bit more. I don't know. Oh, Hillary's probably going to get a flamethrower or something. I don't know what she went to get. Oh, I think she went to get a flamethrower.
It's not actually a flamethrower.
Yes, it is. No, you can flamethrower it. Okay, so it doesn't work with 126. We thought we'd try it at the last minute. It does not work with 126. At least over ice. It's dropping down. It's cooling it down too much, I think. You gonna try to use that, see if you can get it to light?
Oh, no.
Sure.
Pretty sure. But I know I can do this, and I don't know that everybody saw this the other day, so. I put it out, actually.
What she has in the little sprayer bottle is Everclear 190 proof. So 95% alcohol, that does light on fire very, very easily.
I'm not certain I actually got it on all the cameras, so.
One more time, because everybody needs to see the fire. There you go. All right, so the flaming didn't work on this, but it's okay.
It is pretty cool when people are able to bring out a flaming cocktail.
Freaking delicious.
But
a little too much rum on top because I kept playing with it, but man, that is a really good cocktail. Yeah, ideally it should have been a higher proof.
Yeah. To do the flames.
To do the flames.
Not to do the drink.
No, but the drink is great. Yeah, maybe someday we'll get the Bacardi 151. I don't know. Oh,
so we don't have names for these. Fantastic. We do have recipes. We'll put the recipes online. Mm-hmm. I don't have a backup video tonight, so this video is it.
Yep, that's it.
And it looks like the live stream's been functioning fine, so we should be fine. Do you have anything to add? Anything for next week? Do we have questions, concerns?
Hey, send us ideas, because as you can see, we're running low on ideas. But these came out really well. These were really, really tasty. So the challenge is great.
Are they good summer drinks? Because like the one over
these are good summery drinks. These are all, they're fruity. This is a little bit taller, which means it's got more volume of non-alcohol to alcohol.
You're going to bring that one back over since it's off screen on that.
The Di-Lemonata is a tall drink. And then, you have the other one. Hillary has the other one. They're all really different. The fruitiness, the sweet, that's more of your summer thing. I think those are all stuff I would certainly enjoy sitting out on the patio on, and I like tonight. So.
And I don't recommend doing the fire thing inside. I've done it before, so I know what I'm doing.
I wouldn't do it in a bar that way, but she does that way.
You really shouldn't do it at a bar either.
Not that way. No, there are ways of doing it at a bar.
Fine.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's good. So, we will see you all next Wednesday at 9. And look for another announcement of a charity virtual tasting that we're going to be doing, which will be coming up really, really soon. So, cheers.
Good night, everybody.
That's really good. Like, that White Dog really actually works really well. Like, I'm not used to that, but it's really good.
Maybe we should try more drinks with the...
It has a butteriness that's just very pleasant.
Yes, Steve.
What do you say?